Quest is frozen.
And
Okay,
is this live?
Yes, sir. We're live. Live. This is not play live. So Quest is gone, y'all. So what I'm doing to our studio audience, that's Joseph and Jamel, until they become guests, is we're gonna wait for Quest to come back on. So Quest, check your Facebook and make sure that you're on, and we're gonna circle back. But we're live, so check your Facebook, your Facebook thing, and make sure that we are as live as I think we are.
Oh, we good to go.
And,
we good to go. Let's get it.
We good on that. So let me check. Let me check though, because you know I'm running with one wheel today. I'm gonna check the YouTube channel quick fast, and then we rinse and repeat. Your thing froze up on us, man.
No, I'm good. I switched Wi-Fi. So
okay. So just hold fast 1 second. Let me make sure. Marriage, AINT for SuckaZ. Listen, I need like 10 studios. So if anything weird happens, I can just leave one and go to another one. That's how it should be, right? That's how it should be.
No doubt.
All right. So Quest, guess what?
Yeah.
I'm gonna say it again, and then you're gonna do your thing, right? All right. So peace to all of y'all who are on YouTube, Facebook, and all of those other ones. We're gonna get ready for the audio side. Quiet on the set.
What up, y'all? Welcome to another edition of the Marriage Ain't for Suckers podcast. You already know who I am. I'm the host with the most, Quest, alongside my co-host, ladies and gentlemen, my man, my man, L. David Harris.
Get on the mic.
And MC. Yo,
what up, Quest?
What up? Let me tell you, I'm like super duper excited today.
Really?
Because I got no doubt, because I got my bros on with me today.
You do?
Yeah, this one might be a regular kind of thing from time to time. You know what I'm saying? Like very few opportunities do you get to see for individuals who are professionals in the area of marriage, relationship, and a number of other things that you get to see come together and have intelligent, meaningful, impactful conversations about marriage. You know what I'm saying? The good, bad, and the indifferent. So D, I'm telling you, I'm super duper excited. Yep.
How do you get more excited though? Like, how does a dude like Quest get more excited?
I don't know. That's dangerous. I don't know if you definitely. I don't know if you. You know what I'm saying?
So we all the way up, like
all the way up. If I get any more excited than I am right now, it might be a problem. Like for real.
Lift off. Let's go. All right. Well, let's see what's going on. You two, our brothers can go ahead and unmute. So whenever you're ready to speak, you can speak. But I'm not going to preempt Quest.
Let me
do that. Do your thing.
Before we give them the proper, you know what I'm saying, introduction, because I got to get them the proper introduction. Tell me what's going on the island, because it wouldn't be right if I didn't ask you, how's life on the island?
Bruh, life is life. But guess what? I'm in this.
I just wanted to make sure if there's something was different, because every time is life is life. I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, but when you say that, it's all encompassing. And this time, life is life means that I'm in these little buds, which is cool when I'm on the treadmill and hitting the bag. But I don't like doing it here, because now you on the studio flex and I'm on this. And as you can see, I'm not in the studio. I'm not happy about it.
Share for the people what happened, man.
Yeah, so I just finished working out, and because wifey loves me, and by the way, she's behind the camera today. Like, she's on the other side of my laptop. She was like, yo, current gone, like light gone, like no current. So that means that they cut the power to fix it at the house where the studio is, right? So I had to shower and pack up my laptop. Like, I have a super laptop, but I don't like doing this kind of stuff on the laptop.
Yo, let me tell you.
Had to figure it out, man. So I went somewhere else, and so we're live from my laptop today.
So
that's what it is.
So let me say this, right? One monkey don't stop no show, right? We said it
There's
before.
no way.
Marriage ain't for
That's
suckers.
right.
Either the power going out, that ain't for suckers neither. You feel me?
That's right.
We're gonna make it
That's
happen.
it.
So
Let's
let
go.
me jump off into this thing. D, I got two of my bros here. You know what I'm saying? And
Yes, sir. Yes,
these are
sir.
dudes that I hold with high regard. You know what I'm saying? I like for real. Every time that I'm on Facebook or IG, these are the posts from these brothers that I'm looking for.
Okay.
Both of them have joined forces, and they have a community that happens Monday through Friday. Yes, gents. And it's called Wake Up in Love. And
That's
so
hot.
let me introduce my first brother. You know what I'm saying? Like for real, he is you know what I'm saying? Like for real, a coach, a relationship coach. He is the host of the Value TV show. You know what I'm saying? Ladies and gentlemen, I just want everybody to put their hands together, you know what I'm saying, for Jamel Devon Jackson. You know what I'm saying?
Yo,
You know what I'm saying? Make some noise.
yo, did you say his whole name, bro? That's how it
Yeah.
go?
Oh, that's my dude. I gotta put the whole government out there. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
I
Let's
actually
go.
want it that way. I want them
Yeah,
to
you
know
know what I'm saying?
who it is.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So there's no discrepancies. Cause you know what I'm saying? We from the hood, Jay. So it's a couple Jamel, it might be a couple Jamel Jacksons out there. We just want to be real specific. Jamel Devon. So there won't be no discrepancy. You feel me? So we're gonna
Yes,
get into
sir.
it with Jay in a minute. This is my other brother right here. You know what I'm saying? Licensed therapist, a monster in this relationship game. You know what I'm saying? Like for real. The CEO of Love Unscripted. Ladies and gentlemen, friends and families, you know what I'm saying? Those from near and far, it's my dude, Joseph Wilson. Yeah, let's go ahead.
What's up, y'all? Yo, thanks for having me. I just want to say, like, for real,
Yeah.
this is a rare occasion to have Black men discussing
Come
marriages
on.
in a positive sense.
Come on.
Not just the gossip stuff, not just the man, women are like this and they do that. No, like we want the community to be well.
You feel me?
We want health in our relationships. And I'm just glad to be able to be on this show with you all to be able to discuss some of these things.
So
Listen, man, I'm feeling a pilot flex over there, Jay, with the quest. What's up? Like the man just come on, like he burning already. What's up?
Already. This is what I'm trying to tell you, man. It's gonna be a lovely thing when the four of us get together in a conference setting.
Come on,
I don't know about y'all, but I'm working right now, so I'm about to put the pieces together real soon.
That should be illegal, but we love it. Let's go.
You know what I'm saying? For the Hard Way Marriage Conference. Come on, stop playing. So real quick, Jamel, Joe, for real, tell us a little bit about what you guys are working on, what you got currently in the mix. You know what I'm saying? Come on, tell the people.
I love the partnership of what me and Joe have put together outside of, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, man,
Okay.
go on, man.
Outside of my own ventures in terms of building the Value TV show out, the only show that gives you tools to build and have healthy relationships. We're not talking about anything else, but giving you tools to build and have healthy relationships. I decided to partner up with my dear brother, Joe. I'm a certified licensed relationship facilitator coach. He's a marriage and family therapist. So we teamed up and we started a company called Wake Up in Love. Wake Up in Love, where we gather Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And listen to this. This is very key. We're going to disrupt how they do counseling because Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, you have certified or licensed therapists, coaches, counselors, doctors, psychiatrists on a call Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. Not people on there. No shade to any type of group, clubhouse, anything like that. But these are not people coming on to say, hey, this is what I think about women. This is how I feel about men. These are licensed or certified doctors, counselors, coaches, and therapists. And I love it, man.
Let's get them.
I love it. Joe.
Yeah, I have my own podcast, the Love Unscripted podcast, where I try to create a space where millennials could talk about relationships, but more importantly, get tools and strategies. Because I'm like, Jamel, I'm not all for the just talking about our experiences. I want us to be able to pull the nuggets out so that we can talk so that we can overcome whatever challenges we're having. So me and Jamel decided like, yo, what can we do? Like, how can we create a space that gives people real information that is evidence-based, that is not our opinion, and can be applied to multiple situations and circumstances? Because that's the thing, like when people just come and talk, we make the assumption that they have the skills that we do.
Yeah.
That's why I try to tell people, like, we make the assumption that their life experience may in some ways be similar to mine. So they know how to think how I'm thinking with this skill. They know how to tailor it to what they're doing, but that is extremely challenging. So the approach that we decided to take in this group is let's use evidence-based practices, which is pretty much interventions that have been tested with thousands upon thousands of people and can be generalized across the population. And we know that if you do this step A, step B, step C, that you will get a result. Now, it'll be up to you to be consistent with it, just like any type of medication, any type of fitness plan, any type of health plan. If you're consistent with it, you will get the result. So we want to be able to give people tools, strategies, and also companion, like camaraderie. Like relationships are tough. They're not for suckers. So it's also good to just have people in your space knowing that they're going through some of the same things. So that's why we created Wake Up in Love.
Man, let me tell you something. This Joe, like for real, I didn't even really have to do it. You set it off already. So what I wanted to do today is just talk about the state of marriage, right? And relationships, right? Because ultimately, you got to be in relationship before you jump into this thing called marriage. Today, I want to talk a little bit about what, causes a marriage to be strong and stand the test of time. What causes one to fall to pieces, right? So when we talk about the state of marriage, like for real, what do you think some of the contributing factors are? Well, first and foremost, let's talk about the state. Where do you believe marriage is right now and in its current condition?
Let me just jump in right here, right? So you remember I say life is life all the time, right?
Yeah.
What's up in Jamaica? Well, this is the first time on Marriage Ain't for Suckers that like Simone is in the room with me.
Wow.
Right? It's 21 years of marriage, bro. And so like she's right behind here. And so authenticity is key with marriage. Yeah. Whatever it is. Because as our brothers would definitely agree, if people are not being honest about whatever the state of affairs are, right? We haven't even outlined what it could be. Whatever the reality is in your household, own it. Because there is absolutely no way that we can grow if we're not honest about whatever the state of affairs is. So in our household, state of affairs is like, we love marriage. And as I said the other week, Quest, like marriage is a ministry for us. It's not just about us. It has to grow tentacles. It needs to go outside and make a positive impact. So honesty is key. Authenticity is key in our household. And I'm just happy that Simone is sitting here listening and not being like, what's this dude talking about marriage? What marriage? They don't know this dude is really like the devil at home. Yeah.
So lovely D. So let me ask this, fellas. Could it possibly be that as it relates to the state that not enough marriages are being authentic, right? Could it possibly be that those who are having a pseudo, I would, for lack of a better term, instance of things being okay is because they're not having true, authentic conversations about what possibly could be wrong? Because here, I've seen many a relationship who give the appearance like everything is okay, but each person behind their own or inside themselves are dealing with an emotional turmoil that is connected to a particular issue in the relationship, but they refuse to say anything because they don't want to rock the boat or they don't want to, right? So they continue to deal with that thing. How long can that possibly go on before they hit the breaking point? So, yeah, come on, Joe.
No, I was going to say, yeah, so many people are afraid of confrontation. But here's the misconception. When you hear confrontation in a relationship, most people envision it being me versus my partner. when it should be both of you confronting a challenge or a problem. Now you're on the same side. A lot of people are looking at my partner is the one I'm confronting. No, it's not that, because there's things that are going to happen that are always going to be changing. And there's always going to be a new task to address or to confront. There's this thing called like lifespan and development, where we go through different phases of life. You're newlywed, you're married, now you have children. And then the millennial age where we're at right now is we're getting into our career. Our parents are starting to get older, and many of us are having younger children who are about to be school age. So that's a whole bunch of confronting we have to do. But if you're not careful, you're over here confronting your partner when you need to be confronting the challenge together, walking together to confront those things.
And here's the thing. I'm glad you said that, because what leads to what Joe said is there's these three words I want to give: comparing, competing, and complimenting.
Oh, come on.
Comparing, competing, and complimenting. So what ends up happening is we end up competing with our partners versus complimenting them. And we get to competing by comparing. So now I'm comparing things outside my relationships, and then I'm comparing my partner to who he should be or she should be. And now I'm competing with them. When you think about, I'll name two great ball players. We think about Jordan and Pippen on the Bulls. You never seen Pippen trying to compete with Jordan, or Jordan trying to compete with Pippen. If anything, they were constantly complimenting each other, and that's how they win championships. That's how your relationships win championships. This is how we win championships. And so, like Joe was saying, we get into this competing. I'm competing with my partner. No, we're team members. Once you start competing with your partner, we're already going down a slippery slope.
Okay. This is lovely.
I'm on some simple math, Quest.
Yep.
I'm on some simple math. If we're on the same team and we're talking about it in the context of marriage, 1 + 1 = 1.
Yep.
Right? And so
they said that's the marital equation.
That's it. So the moment, Jamel, that I decide that the one that's behind there, Simone, is my problem or competition, enemy, whatever, then I have now like diminished her value. I've made her less than. I've made the unit less than, and then the math doesn't pan out. We become fragmented. And when we're fragmented, as they say, united we stand, but divided. Do I need to finish it?
Oh yeah, no doubt.
So we have to put up protective measures, man. Go ahead. Listen,
Dave, to get to that point, I love what Joe said, what you said, and what I said, but to bring clarification, for us to get to that point of 1 + 1 = 1, there's a chapter in my book called Lose Your Life. Lose your life, meaning you have to give up your way. And that way may be a mindset or a behavior. I read a story by this great prolific man. His name was Jesus, and he was talking to his disciples. He said, if you cling to your life, you'll lose it. But if you lose your life for me, you'll find it. I said, hold on, that don't even make sense. In our mind, 1 + 1 = 2, 2 + 1 = 3. He said, no, 3 - 1 is 4. So he brings along this new addition, as you're saying, is 1 + 1 = 1. But to get to that type of equation, you have to be willing to lose your life. And there's some instances that life, it may be a habit, a mindset where the husband's like, my way is the right way. Not today, brother. Or the wife saying whatever she's saying. It's like, oh, not today, sister. We got to get back to this 1 + 1 = 1. But in order to do that, somebody has to give up their life. And here's the thing, this is not overnight. This is daily. You're dying daily to yourself in this marriage, in this institution. And some of us don't want to die, but to get where we're talking about, you're going to have to die to something.
Oh, so I hear y'all. And what I'm hearing is that this thing called marriage, it definitely is the foundation for humanity, right? But truth be told, it is not the least common denominator. Oh, come on. So that means that, and I said it this week, because a lot of the times when we get into these challenges and difficulties and we don't have the tools, right? And we end up in divorce, we always want to say divorce was the problem, or whatever led to divorce was the problem, right? But it's not divorce in and of itself. It's defective marriages due to defective people, right? So in essence, it is the fact that I walked into this relationship because I wanted marriage, I wanted relationship with the intention of solving my problem of loneliness. Right?
But remember, we talked about this last week, Wes.
Yeah,
we started with the wholeness, the principle of wholeness.
Yes. Yes.
While we are single. And I know you could say it's pie in the sky, you can say it's idealistic, we're setting a foundation. And that kind of stuff can be recovered. But if you have the privilege, brothers and sisters, like to start, you're not married or you were married and you're considering marrying again, consider the principle of wholeness, becoming the best version of you that you can be so that you bring that into the equation of marriage.
Here's the problem with it though. There are some who believe that they are whole because I make a certain amount of money. I drive a nice car. I live in a particular house.
A whole lot of money?
Oh, I'm just
a whole
saying,
lot of car?
Yeah, a whole lot of car and a whole lot of house. When truth be told, you might have a high IQ to achieve or carry out all of these different things that put you in position to acquire, financial gains. But the truth of the matter is, do you have a high EQ? And if you don't have a high EQ and you step into relationship and you are totally unaware of how to conduct yourself when you get to these roadblocks, if you will, these obstacles, these challenges, these difficulties, you're going to do the same thing and end up in that place and then blame the other person for the very thing that you were not properly equipped to do. Okay, so when we make an omelet, right? Shan said it on Wake Up and Love the other day. He said, if I'm going to make a fantastic meal is made by fantastic ingredients, right? The minute that one of those ingredients goes wrong, if I make an omelet and the omelet takes 2 eggs to make, I can't make it with 2 halves of an egg. The omelet requires 2 eggs. Or if I make the omelet, all I'm going to do is have an omelet made with 2 half of eggs, right? That make up 1 egg, right? If I have 1 egg that's good and 1 egg that's rotten, I now have a rotten omelet. Why? If I'm talking in the context of marriage, your marriage is only as strong as as the least developed individual. Right? So which means that if I'm
wait, pause.
Yeah.
Again, it's what?
The marriage is only as strong as the least developed individual. Right? So with that being said, if I'm not going to come into this, enter into this thing whole, okay, the thing that I like about all of us are believers here, so I can speak freely when I go to the word. When you go to the Bible and you look in Genesis and, the first week of creation, and then he creates man and he gives him his responsibilities. Adam knew who he was. He knew what he was supposed to be doing, and he knew where he was supposed to be doing it. In other words, he was unique, he was separate, and he was whole. He had a full-on understanding of who he was and what he was supposed to be doing. He had knowledge of self. He knew who he was and whose he was. As a matter of fact, he didn't even know that he needed a mate, right? We're speaking to the least common denominator now, right? So in other words, he didn't know that he needed a mate until God brought him one. It was God who said, it's not right that man should be alone. I'll make for him a helpmeet. So now he presents this Eve to him, right? And the two become one flesh. Notice that. A whole, unique, separated individual set apart for this thing called marriage. Then he brings him another whole, unique, right? Separate individual. And then the two, back to your equation, back to what Jamel said, 1 + 1 = 1. So we don't have a 50-50, we don't have a 75-75. And if you ask me, as we talk about this thing called the state of marriages, we got to deal with the least common denominator. I love the way Miles Monroe puts it. He says, until you get to the place that you realize that you don't need marriage at all, that is when you're properly prepared for marriage.
Question, so you went back to the found.
Go ahead,
Your question.
Jamel, go ahead.
I love how we're having this conversation, and you brought it back to the beginning, back to the essence, back to Genesis, back to the original plan, because that's how God deals with my mind. And you went back to what I was studying on one of my shows. We were talking about this combination of dust and ribs. This combination of dust and ribs. So he forms man out of the dust. Then he forms the woman out of the rib, out of the man. So you have this combination of dust and ribs, which brings it back to from the original to going where Dave was saying and Joe was saying and I was saying, the competing and comparing. Because now, if I understand this combination of dust and ribs, my wife is just as much a part of me as I am of her.
Oh, come on.
So if I'm talking to her crazy, I'm talking to me crazy.
Absolutely.
So let me jump in there, Jamel, because like that's the essence. You use the term essence. And, you know, that's something that goes way back for all, at least three of us. I don't know about Joseph because I don't know where Joseph comes from, but that's a thing. Like that's a thing in New York City speak from back in the day. Like, and so if I destroy myself and you're watching me destroy myself, you think something's wrong. But I think the problem in society is we watch each other destroy people in our marriages. I destroy my wife. She destroys me. I bust wife. Wife busts back. Children suffer, and people think it's normal. Yeah. We have normalized maladaptive behaviors. Yeah. Destructive energy in marriage, we have normalized. So nobody pays any mind. It's like police come, domestic dispute. Police are like, all right, do you really want to press charges? Yes or no? Because the behavior of domestic disputes, violence, people changing their minds about whether it's bad or good has become so status quo that even in many of the states in the United States, if nobody presses charges, it never happened. Thank God for like the Commonwealth of Virginia and other places where once it comes up, they're going to be charges. But we have made it seem as if it's okay to shred my rib, to shred the essence. Self-injurious behavior, Joseph.
Yeah, but think about like, do people really see marriage for what it truly is? Or is it just a status symbol? It is a achievement. It is something on the resume. It is a pacifier for me to get my social and emotional need. Like, do people see marriage for what it really is? And I don't think people do. And here's why. Marriage is a sacred and spiritual thing. People don't realize that when you stand before your soon-to-be partner and your family and the God that created you and take vows, that means something. Even outside of the Christian realm, vows and oaths are extremely important. It means something. There is something outside of just the physical that happens when you do that. And so if you are playing games with something like marriage, where pretty much every society has some type of spiritual application for marriage, like you're going to get hurt. And as we see, people are just going at it haphazardly. I don't think people are connecting the dots of the spiritual aspect that you are taking an oath and that this, did I go out? That this oath is something that you are bound to. And
keep talking, bro. We got you.
And oaths have conditions for what happens when criteria is not met.
Absolutely.
And when these things happen, we go, what in the world is happening? Why are they doing? And it's not that. It's a two-sided, three-sided oath. The Most High done reneged on his side. So go ahead.
Can I just jump in on that with you, Joseph? And it's not to change what you've said, right? So I think Quest said something earlier about the relationship that I cannot recall, but it'll connect here. Okay, it's not, I think it was Jamel. It's not about compromise. It's about concession. It's not necessarily about compromise. It's not 50-50. It's not you choose 60, I'll take 40, you choose 70, I take 30. It's I'm all in. So let's go back to your oath concept. It's a bilateral agreement, yes. We've both decided this is where we're going. But in my case, what if my beautiful wife over there, 21 years, she decides that she's not going to, I don't know, respect the marriage? Do I then say, because it was bilateral, we both stood there, we both signed the document, she's behaving in this way, do I get to say, all right, contract done? Or do I have to take sort of the position, or in some instances, do I take the position that says, in this moment, there is an enemy in our marriage. We need to search and find the enemy. So in this moment, regardless of her mindset, do I stand up as the man in this case and say, I made a vow. I don't know what's happening at this moment, but David Harris wrote on the document, we about to be about this marriage, Flex.
Okay.
So how do we deal with that? And I know it's not a broad stroke. There are conditions, we get it, but just generally.
I want to say this. This may come off controversial, but I'm going to speak because we talk all the time.
Come on.
Let's go.
A while ago, I was dating this girl, and I remember we were talking on the phone, and she said, "You don't want to deal with me because I'm broken. You don't want nothing to do with me." Okay. And in the moment, I was about to say yes, and before I could say it, God said, "No, you will because you're broken." And I said, "What?" And so we're all broken in some shape, form, or fashion. Everybody walking on this earth today, right now, breathing, has a broken area in their life.
I heard it.
I'm going somewhere with this, Dave, because I'm gonna fast forward until now you have these individuals, like Joe said, they committed the vow, they took the oath, and they still have broken areas when they did it. They build the marriage out 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, still broken. Now, we get to this point where, let's say something occurs, like you said, Dave, and the brokenness rises or surfaces, and you don't want to do anything about this brokenness.
I heard it.
Because here's where I lie. You don't want to do anything about this brokenness, but here's the thing, we're all broken. So here's the thing, I'm going to accept you because if you're willing to do something about your brokenness, then we can build. But if you're ignoring your brokenness after it's been identified and you're saying, well, that's just the way I am and this is just the way I'm going to do it, okay, for a certain amount of time, because I started in this analogy to make it very practical. We're driving down the street, typically with men with their significant other or their spouse, and the tank is like almost on E. And she's like, babe, let's pull over right here so we can get some gas station. I don't think we're going to make it. This is symbolic of the brokenness. And I don't think we're going to make it. You like, no, we're just going to keep on going. And so you keep on rolling. And then now it's on E. The light is on. The light is on. We identified the brokenness. The light is on. This car is going to shut off. Let's pull over at this gas station. Let's get help. Let's get counseling. I think this thing is going to damage us. Because it's not just you. It's going to damage us because I'm in the car with you. I'm trying to reach this destination. And God forbid we're on the highway. Let's lose that scenario. We're on the highway and exit 17 is where the gas is, where the counseling is, where's the community is, and we can get fueled up. We can get put back on course. And you're like, no, I don't want to stop that. Now I have to make a decision because your brokenness will eventually impact my life and my well-being and the kids if we have some. So therefore, now I have to make a decision. I'm not telling people to leave, but in this scenario, when your brokenness is impacting my world that we clearly identified and you don't want to do anything about it, and we're on E and we're on a highway. I've been in a car one time and I said, I think I could make it to the next exit. And I don't know if you've been in this situation, but my car locked up and shut down and it just stopped. And I was like, oh, and cars was flying by. I could have got killed. Thankfully, I was able to get out the car, call my man, tell him, yo, come we got to go get some fuel. Ignorant move, but we do it in relationships. Whether it's 5 years, 10 years, 15, 20, 30. And we're like, man, well, and I gotta just stick it out and stay. And I'm all for that. But if you're not willing to do anything about your brokenness that we've identified, that's detrimental to my well-being now because you want to keep ignoring it, deuces, I'm getting out this car because we could have got gas about 15 exits ago.
Somebody gonna get run over. I'm gonna just leave it right there. Y'all go ahead.
When you said what you said a while ago, Jamel, I promise you I heard in my spirit, when you choose somebody to be in relationship with, they are a reflection of who you are spiritually. So if you're broken, you're going to choose somebody broken. This is the reason why it is important for you to achieve the full state of singleness. I am a firm believer in the fact that God is more concerned with you being a disciple. Although he holds marriage with high esteem, he is more concerned with you being a disciple than he is concerned with you being a spouse.
Say it again, bro.
I believe, based upon what you're saying now, because it's coming full circle for me and serving this confirmation that okay, God is more concerned with you being single, with you being, and when I say single, I'm not talking about like without unmarried. I'm talking about single in the sense of unique, separate, and whole. I believe that he wants us to be whole because he can use us when we are in the full state of singleness, where we are whole. He can use us to a greater degree than when we're broken, and he's got to go through all of these things to fix the brokenness before I can actually put you in certain places and spaces, marriage included. Because if you go in there, just like you said, your brokenness is going to impact me greatly because we're in union, right?
Yeah. So let's do a thing. Go ahead, Quest. Go ahead.
Yeah. No. I was just saying that he's more concerned with you being a disciple because you are better a disciple as a husband than you are. Oh, come on. Yeah, go ahead, D. Lord have mercy.
Let's do a thing. Let's do a thing, right? So we touched on some of the challenges.
Yeah.
Symptomatic.
Yeah.
And there are a number of people who are listening or viewing who may be saying, yeah, you're right. But now what? Right? So I know I may have come into the thing fragmented when I should have been whole.
Yeah.
I know that even though I came in whole, I decided to allow an intruder to disrupt unity in the household.
Can I interject something right here, D? Because I want to be very clear about what it is that you're saying, because I don't want nobody to think that, okay, I hear what y'all are saying and I came into this marriage without me achieving the full state of singleness. We are not saying by any stretch of the imagination in any way, shape, or form that you serve your spouse with divorce papers because I got to leave this marriage now because I didn't do this right. So I got to start all over from the beginning.
Like how we say in Jamaica, because they never to work out.
Never to work out, right? And as a matter of fact, the Bible teaches the principle, at least, that if that's how you entered in, however you entered in, you remain in that state. So if you got saved and you were single, remain in that state until you decide whether or not you're going to be married or single. If you got saved and you were married, remain in your marriage, right? And then work from there. So yeah, D, I just wanted to interject that piece. Go ahead.
Yeah, so we can't resolve every challenge on the planet at this moment, right? But let's just invest a couple of minutes on, okay, we're in a less than ideal situation. It doesn't mean that your marriage is about to break up, or it could be, right? But whatever the situation is less than ideal.
Mm-hmm.
How do we at least push the envelope a little bit and start on the right pathway to phenomenal? So it's less than ideal. I hear what you brothers have been saying. It's not as good as it should be. Now what?
Yeah, so when I work with couples, especially couples who come in and they're in emergency mode, things haven't been going well. Like you said, it's less than ideal. It'll be challenging for them to be able to work towards a solution together. So the most effective way to get two couples to have a more fulfilling relationship is for them to work on themselves without the expectation of the other person having to change. So what you do is you have to go become more self-aware. And there's multiple things you can do, like I'm a big like timeline person. What were some of the things that were most impactful during your younger years? What were some of the things that made me feel alive? What would I be doing if I did not have to work all the time? And think of like these things, it seems like it's arbitrary, but no, because like you said, you have to be a whole person. If you drifted away from that, how do you get back to that? How do you get back to that? And it's a self-discovery journey. You have to get back to your essence. You got to start, who did the Most High create you to be before you had the label and title of husband or wife? Because you were a person. You weren't this person all the time. There was someone that was there. Who was that person at its truest essence? And start to unpack that within yourself. And then if two people are able to unpack that, guess what you come back to the table with? A little more compassion. Compassion is missing when there is a lot of strife and turmoil. That stops us from hearing them to even be able to talk about us getting on the same side and working through a problem. So one of the things I say is like, become more self-aware, go on a self-discovery journey so that you can know who you are, why you feel the way you've done, or why you do certain things, so that now when you come back to the table, you have more awareness of yourself and can provide suggestions and recommendations that are from a more authentic place, not from the place where y'all were always fighting.
I love it.
That's right. Let me just put something in here. And I know because I only talk to Quest a lot, I don't know where you brothers stand on this, but there is a category of brokenness, dysfunction, I'll call it, in some marriages that has to do with spousal abuse. I'm going to put this out here and just leave it there. We can't drill it deeply, but if there is someone abusing on any level the spouse, then marital counseling is not the key. It is not the answer. I published a book on it.
Matter of fact, get up out of
it.
It
is not the answer. Yeah. So I'm not saying that it's hopeless, but there is just a thing that happens when someone consents to have counseling, marital counseling with an abuser. It provides false hope before the abuser has decided to deal with that problem and stop being foul. Absolutely. So everything else that we say is, in my mind, not applying to abuse in the marriage. Everything else about working on stuff does not apply to abuse on marriage. We have to talk about that separately. How do you feel about that, Joe?
To Joe's
point. Sorry.
No, I was saying to Joe's point, like if you came into this marriage and we determined what singleness is, what marriage will do is just highlight how unsingle you are. Just the dynamics of marriage will highlight in a major way how unsingle you are, how much you are not unique, how much you are not separate, how much you are not whole. And once you can identify the areas, here's my rule of thumb. Anytime I'm in my relationship and there's a difficulty or challenge or it rubs me in some kind of way that I don't like, all it is an indication of an area I need to grow in. Now, what kind of resources do I need to do? I need to get a coach? Do I need to go see Joseph? What do I need to do? Do I need a therapist? Like, what do I need to do such that this thing that's rubbing me the wrong way or it's difficult or challenging for me no longer is difficult or challenge? It's just an indication of an area that I need to grow in. Once I can work on that area and then it produces what they call them when you go to the gym, gains. Is that what they call them? Gains, right? Once it starts producing gains or producing fruit, to the point where my spouse can see it. Okay, now we can start. You don't plant orange seeds and get an apple tree. Let's keep it 100. You get what you plant. And so some of us are expecting an end result, but that's not the fruit that you plant. Okay, yep. Come on, Jamel.
Yeah, let's put it.
I agree with you guys. Like
on it. Mm-hmm.
Some practical steps it's going to take once again, we like I always say this question when we're talking, we like the idea of relationships, but we don't like the commitment, work, and responsibility that comes with it. I like the idea. It's a great idea, but nobody cares about your idea after a certain point in time until it's time to execute. And so to get to practical steps like Joseph was saying, and you're saying, and Dave is saying, and I'm speaking directly to the men. I know there's women listening, but I have this thing I want to come right for men. It's going to take a level of humility, because sometimes us as men, wherever we grew up, whatever environment, there's this egotistical nature that I don't need to let nobody tell me what to do, and I got this together. No, you got to dumb it down. Once again, like I said, lose your life. I had to humble myself and say, you know what, I do need to be a part of this community. I'm the reason this is like this. I do need to link up with this other man. He has a little more powerful influence, a little more insight and wisdom. Let me sit under him. Let me call him once a week. Those are practical steps, but we ignore them because this ego. I have to humble myself first before the creator. Like, you know what? I don't have it all together. I'm making mistakes. Let me humble myself. I'm not trying to even get deep. It's that practical for men that are listening. If you're listening, right, humble yourself. Humble yourself. Be humble to say, you know what? I don't have it together. I need help.
Yo, but listen, here's the thing. Marriage is the perfect environment to work on all those areas. Yeah. Think about it. So the idea of marriage is designed to where there's supposed to be vulnerability. David used the word authenticity. And here's the thing. If you
commit to it, right, Joe?
If you commit to it, listen, you're supposed to be able to show all your ugliness to somebody. And guess what? They're not supposed to run from it. When that happens, if you've ever been in therapy, when you see someone be vulnerable and you see that they can hold that, oh, that's transformational. Marriage is designed to be able to help people work through some things. If it's a safe environment, if there's support, if there's commitment there, all of those things, like marriage is the perfect place to be able to do that in. But unfortunately, so many of our marriages are bombarded with having to deal with past traumas, past relationship experiences, even stuff that may come up in that relationship from your partner. Like, you still got to deal with all those. But even with all the stuff you just said, Jamel, marriage is the perfect place to be able to work on that, because one, you should be able to show how wretched and how messed up you are, and the person not run from you. Because listen, we'll run from everybody else. A safe place. Friends will ditch you. They don't really have no other obligation. Parents can blackball you from the family events. But the person you marry, listen, till death do us part.
Yeah.
Till death do us part. Not until I see you got a terrible habit that I just absolutely can't stand and it don't look like it's changing. Or the bad habit that you picked up when you was going through your season of depression, like whatever it is, you're not supposed to be able to run. But if we can create marriages that have safe spaces and have support systems built in externally and internally, yo, we can work through some of those things. Because listen, just because you're whole don't mean that some stuff is not going to come up. That's like the first level.
Whole doesn't mean not human.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
we're whole humans. If we're in the ideal sense, we're whole humans. We're still humans.
Yo,
so still room and opportunity for growth, and we thank God for that,
bruh. So listen, I want to be able to do this for, you know what I'm saying, extended period of times, but I know we got work to do. Brothers got appointments to make and sessions to hold. First and foremost, y'all gonna come back? We gonna do this again?
Oh, consider it done, man.
Absolutely.
Consider it done.
I love it.
We're gonna hold a conference in Jamaica.
Oh, come on.
So you say, Jamel, say less.
I like to just throw things in the atmosphere. You know what I'm saying?
Man. Talk to me nice. You know what I'm saying? So real quick, Jamel and then Joseph, tell the people where they can find you, man.
Listen, man, I am Jamel D. Jackson, Jamel Devon Jackson, your relationship mechanic. And if you want to find me, I'm on all social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube at Jamel D. Jackson. Jamel D. Jackson. You can find me on all those platforms. And I want to throw this out there. If Joe misses it, but I'm sure he won't, you can join us Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays at wakeupandlove.com. That's wakeupandlove.com.
Yep. Come on, Joe.
Yeah. Y'all can just find me on Instagram at love.unscripted. You can find me on iTunes, Google Play, all of the streaming platforms, the Love Unscripted podcast, and the YouTube channel is Love Unscripted HD. And if you want to ask me questions, I know people do. Listen, go join Wake Up and Love. That's where you'll find me at. That's where me and Jamel will be just supporting people. That's where you can find me at the Wake Up in Love.
Yeah,
on
no,
Instagram.
And let me say this, hey Dave, if you got any individuals that you think want to, like, after you review Wake Up in Love, send Quest, I guess, all their emails or whatever the case may be, and we'll send them out a link that they can use for the whole next week. They can just be on there Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays, free week on me and Joe.
Yeah. What time do y'all pop off in the morning?
It's 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
I love it.
EST.
I love it. Y'all stay on real quick while we release the people. Let me tell y'all something, man. You know what we always say, from shaky to good.
Shaky to good. Let's go.
Ultimately, what we want is phenomenal marriages, but phenomenal marriages don't just happen. They take work. So let's do that. Work specifically on you. And I'll see y'all at Phenomenal. It's your boy Quest. Down below, you got Joseph and Jamel. That's my dude David over there. And you listening to the Marriage Ain't for Suckers podcast.
Y'all stay focused.
Stay focused.